Welcome to Custard Making Made Fun for children, introducing that 4 and 5-year-old to Shakespeare. What do you actually need? Number one, the most important thing is the chair at the kitchen sink, so your toddler can climb up, hold on to the back of the chair a good arm's length away from the hob in case there's a splattering. And then what we need is milk. We're using big milk here. We need sugar, white granulated sugar we've got here, pure and simple everyday use, and custard powder, Bird's original custard powder. And obviously we've got the pumpkins still left over from Halloween, more reserve custard powder cans, Shakespeare poem itself, so you've got that at the back of your hob and you can read it to your child. You need the saucepan, and we've poured a litre of milk to try and save time because my wife complained that it was too long. So if you have a look on here, we can see the level. If we just focus it slowly, there we have 1.5 litre, and here it will say 1 litre. So we've added milk, 1 litre of milk to the saucepan. It's been straight from the fridge, and as you can actually see on the outside, you can see a water vapour has settled down as tiny little droplets, and it's called condensate. So the moisture in the warm air, the water held up in the warm air, because the warm air then moves against the wall of the saucepan, it cools, it's unable to hold this water anymore, and the water vapour then becomes deposited on the outside of your saucepan, and as we heat the saucepan it will go back up into the air and the shine on your stainless steel saucepan will return. So obviously, which kitchen wouldn't have herbs? So we've got fennel seeds, bay leaves, basil, oregon, rosemary, ginger, parsley and thyme. So the thing I hadn't got before was the wooden spoon, the spatula to stir with, so I put that on the saucepan ready. Here we have our milk. You can see we have approximately 4 pints, 3 pints and then 2 pints. We put 400 ml into the cup, but first we're going to have the cup close to your sugar pot. We're making 2 pints. We need 2 heapspoons of sugar with every pint, so we've got 4, and I like it sweet, so I actually add a little bit extra. And there goes the lid. Custard. If you open it, you'll notice there's a tab inside, which if you gently then pull, all the aluminium foil tears off. And then again, have your pot close to your cup. We're adding 4 heaped tablespoonfuls of custard, because I like mine custard thick, and it's for medicinal purposes. It heals my cracked skin on my heels. So there's my custard. We put a furrow into the custard powder and put the lid back on. Then we add the milk. I'm just going to switch off the background noise, and if we come really close, keep pouring the milk. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble, from Macbeth, Shakespeare's Macbeth. Double, double, toil and trouble, some think wicked this way comes. In the cauldron boil and bake, fillet of a fennel snake, scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, moor and gulf, double, double, toil and trouble. something this way, wicked comes. We put the rest of the milk into our saucepan, and that's up to, as you can see there, the 1 litre mark on the saucepan. Do we need the light on that just to see it a bit more clearly? And if you notice the level of milk inside, unfortunately the milk's warmed up so we don't get the condensate on the outside, but no problem. Then we put the hob on and put it on 8. And now we need to mix our sugar and milk powder up. I used to press it against the side walls of my mug, but I found it's not necessary. Just gently massage the undersurface upwards, and this powder is so fine it quite quickly dissolves with the milk. And as you know, whenever I make custard, I always recollect the time at primary school there wasn't that much carbohydrate in the meal, only 2 small potatoes, but then custard and Victoria's sponge, upturned pineapple or raisin sponge, and they used to fill you up. So custard was the filling part of the meal. And there was a lad that used to sit at the desk, and when he had the salad, he'd always search for the stalk in the salad. I just wondered, how can you have a stalk, such a large bird, in your salad? Well, it was actually the stalk on the raisins he was looking for. So as you can see, nearly dissolved it. Keep an eye on the milk so the milk doesn't overboil. What you'll notice is that there'll be evaporation of water from the milk. It'll be caught on the undersurface of your saucepan lid, and when you get enough condensate there, it will run. That's about the time that your milk will be boiling. So here we are, we're dissolving as quickly as we can. Going back to the herbs mentioned in Shakespeare's poem, most of these were colloquial expressions of the herbs. We don't fully understand the wording in Shakespeare, but then if you go to the herbs behind me, my favourite song, are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme, remember me to one who was there. She once was a true love of mine. Tell her to find me an acre of land, parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme, between salt water and the sea strand. Then she'll be a true love of mine. So a lot of songs you could look up on the internet and enjoy with your children. If you have a look now at the saucepan lid, you'll notice that there's condensate collecting on the undersurface. We're just waiting for it to run. We've got our 2 bowls ready. My wife's now taking over, she's worried about the importance of stirring is that you don't get the custard congealing on the bottom of your saucepan, and then you'll get lumpy custard. So to avoid the lumpy custard, got the milk going round. We're trying to get custard made in 15 minutes if we can. So I'm putting the spoon onto a stand so it's clean. We've got the lid back on to collect the condensate. As you add the mixture to your milk, hopefully the ratio we've got of 400 ml in the cup and the litre in the saucepan boiling milk, it will congeal quickly. Even if you get some lumps, keep stirring quite rapidly and these lumps suddenly disappear away and you'll get smooth custard, which brings me on to the next song. Only smooth this. Excuse me, frog in the throat. Only the smoothest and sweetest of custard tastes like custard never tasted before. Only the smoothest and sweetest of custard tastes like custard never tasted before. Now you can see the condensate on the undersurface of the saucepan, so it focuses, and it's about to start to run, and when it's running down, that's the time to take the lid off. Be careful it doesn't overboil. If you've got a gas cooker, then have a plate you can tile you can put your saucepan on, or put it on a different ring that's not got gas on it and hot, so you don't get it to overboil. So I'm just going to keep my cool. Hopefully that's it, it's boiling. I've got control, I've switched it off. If it's boiling, blow on it, stir it, stir on it, stir it. There we are. My darling wife will stir the custard powder for me. There we are, mixture, and then we add the two together. It's perfect. I need the spoon. So keep it stirring, add in and a little, just imagine it like you're whisking an egg whisk, working away. You can see, try to stop it congealing on the bottom of your saucepan. So rapid movements, and you can see that suddenly got very, very thick. And there we have beautifully smooth custard. Oh, perfect. And then we just remove the last bits of precious custard still in your cup. If you have any on the surface, make sure you mix it in before you put your heat on, because when it starts boiling and splattering, that surface fluid will just get thrown all over your hob. So mix it in, put the heat back on, bring it back to the boil. As you've got high heat, keep stirring it quickly like an egg whisk. Your egg whisk mixes little circular motions, so you've got nothing burning on the surface. That's why this spatula, the wooden spoon, has got a straight bottom. You can do it with a wooden spoon that's curved, but it's much more difficult. So give it get it to the boil, and you've got good bubble here. So, but this is the time you're likely to get injured. If any of this hot custard splatters out onto the back of your hand, immediately remove it with your fingertip and stick it under a cold water tap, running cold water, so that you avoid having a bad burn. You can see now it's like a volcano now, starting to splatter. Focus please, darling. There's your bubble again. I like to, a couple of 30 seconds, a minute, so it's thoroughly boiled, because I make 2 days worth in one go. And no lumpy custard today, although my friend in primary school liked lumpy custard. I try and make it smooth, and you know the reason why. Because only the smoothest and sweetest of custard tastes like custard never tasted before. There you are. That's boiling away. Switched it off. It's a heavy saucepan because it's metal, because it's an induction hob. So I'm using the spatula, not that way because it'll bend, this way, to actually act as one handle to the saucepan and the other handle. So I'm lifting the weight of the saucepan fluid in two hands. We're pouring it out into two bowls. One to stand overnight for tomorrow. And this is today's custard. So there we are, we've got it out. You can see we're removing as much custard as we can from the sides of the walls, and that is custard making made simple for you with bird's custard. Thank you for watching. I hope that by the parent reading part of Shakespeare's Macbeth, even a line, that 4 and 5-year-old will get, if not the rhythm, then some of the words, even if they're not the accurate words. Double, double, toil and trouble, double 2 times, 2, 4 times the toil, the hard work, and 4 times the bad luck, which is what the witches were wishing Macbeth. Then bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. If that 4 and 5-year-old child manages to say that to the teacher at nursery, I'm sure she'll be impressed. So here we have on the left hand side the Harry Potter version, which is much simpler and shorter. Double, double, toil and trouble, something wicked this way comes. In the cauldron boil and bake, fillet of a fennel snake, scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, moor and gulf. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire, burn and cauldron bubble. Double, double, toil and trouble, something wicked this way come. Round the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad that's under cold stone, days and nights has 31, sweltered venom, sleeping got. Boil thou first in the charmed pot. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Fillet of a fennel snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, adder's fork and blind worm's sting, lizard's leg and owlet's wing, for a charm of powerful trouble. Like hell broth, boil and bubble. Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, moor and gulf. Of the ravened salt sea shark, root of hemlock, dig in the dark. Gall of goat and slips of yew, silvered in the moon's eclipse. Nose of Turk and Tatar's lips. Finger of birth, strangled babe. Ditch delivered by a drab. Make the gruel thick and slab. Add thereto a tiger's chauldron, for the ingredients of our cauldron. Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good. And much like the herbs are mentioned in the potion that the witches were making for Macbeth, here we have the herbs that are shouted out by the little girls selling herbs in the marketplace: parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme. So the words being, are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme. Remember me to one who was there. She once was a true love of mine. Tell her to make me a cambric shirt. Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme. Without no seams nor needlework. Then she'll be a true love of mine. Tell her to find me an acre of land. Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme. Between the salt water and the sea strand, then she'll be a true love of mine. Tell her to reap it with a sickle of leather. Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme, and gather it all in a bunch of heather. Then she'll be a true love of mine. By all means, listen to the original version on YouTube, practice it, and then impress your child how well you can sing it. I hope you can sing it better than me. Thank you.
Only the smoothest and sweetest of custard tastes like custard never tasted before. Only the smoothest and sweetest of custard tastes like custard never tasted before.